So we're going to talk about something that I do that I think over time we'll see more and more coaches doing, but right now it's kind of two schools of thought. And I brought it together, at least in my practice, and at least for a few years now. But I want to explain it, and I hope that more coaches will do this because it's so important. You know, a lot of coaches are focused on mindset. It's mindset. Mindset is 10% of our brain, really 5% if we want to get really, really specific, because 95% is unconscious, right? So most mindset coaches will be focused on external motivation, and it's that 5% of the brain, and that's what they're focused on. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then there are other coaches and therapists who specialize in that 95%. Hypnotists, for example, like I'm a hypnotherapist. So I've always had this intense interest in that, but it's a different ballgame. And then you have practitioners who are energy workers. Maybe they do Reiki, maybe they use the devices I use, but they understand that the aura around someone, the biofield, has everything to do with how a person physically feels. So those people tend to focus on pains, disease, disorders. What we know is that all pain, disease, accidents, disorders, stress. I said stress, so let me just go on a little bit. That 99% of all illnesses and disease is stress related. But I'm going to put that aside for now. So those people are focused on someone comes to them and they're like, oh my God, my back hurts, or I just found out I have cancer, or I have an autoimmune. So do you see how I'm pigeonholing all these different practitioners? You got mindset, you got unconscious work, you've got physical, like naturopaths, and then you have people who understand that energy informs matter. And so those are just like your energy practitioners. So you look at that and you're like, wow, that's like 5 different things. So does that mean that if I want to build an abundant business, I need to go for the one that works with mindset, or do I need to go with the one that works with unconsciousness? Because it's got to be my unconscious things. But my nervous system is dysregulated. So maybe I should go with an energy worker. Oh, but wait, now all of a sudden I've got a really bad case of IBS. Maybe I should go with the health person. Here's what you need to know. You are not any one of those. And so a good practitioner will be all of those. And that's what I do. I understand it's your conscious thinking. So we have to address whatever you want that you don't have, whether it's a better business or healing an illness. There are conscious ways that we can approach it, because if your conscious mind isn't on board, then it's going to be really difficult to convince your unconscious mind. And then we do the unconscious work, right? And a lot of that has to do with using both the conscious and the unconscious in manifestation, and your emotions and emotional management. Okay, so all of that, we're talking the minds. But we also want to address the energetic, your biofield, your energy field around you, which is electromagnetic. It informs your body. So you have to have that energy field around you, because it's what creates your body. And when something goes wrong in your body, whether it's a disease, an illness, or just, you have a lot of accidents, whatever it is, there's an energetic reason behind it. There's an unconscious reason behind it, and there may be a conscious reason behind it. So you see, I am able to take all of those things together, and I have a device. This may look like a phone, but it's not a phone. If you can see, it is it is what I call an automated radionics. Now behind this computer screen, I have some large radionics devices. And for a while I was using only those, but you can only occupy one at a time for a person, if that makes sense. So when I was doing individual in my private practice, when I work on people individually, it could get very time consuming, and I would have a list of clients this long, but the machine was being occupied. So when I decided to invest in what's called an AO scanner, which automates it, it allows me to work on more than one person at a time. But even if it's only one person I'm focused on, I'm able to do it. I'm able to do a scan. I'm able to optimize the person from a distance. With my traditional radionics machine, instrument. I can do a scan, but it's my time that I'm trying to tap in. And make no mistake about it, when you are a radionics practitioner, you must absolutely have the ability, even if they don't teach this, because maybe the people who are the masters of it, like the masters that I have learned from, maybe they don't have the issue that most of the women I coach have, which is a dysregulated nervous system. So they don't usually think to say, in all the books I've read and the classes I've taken, you've got to go down into the alpha level and you've got to get yourself really to be able to tap in to the energetic frequencies. And that's not woo-woo. It's very much like tuning into a dial. And you don't just do it from the air. I'm not going to go, I'm going to work on Sally Jane McFarland in Kansas City. Help me find her. It's not like that. I would have a sample of either hair or more often in my practice, a photograph. Like I would have her send me a picture of herself on a white wall, and I would print that out and I would put that in what's called the witness well. Okay, so that takes some time when you're doing all this. And then I would tune in, I would write her name on it. I would balance her out. I would see where is she off balance. I would take her general vitality, and then I would see how can I help her balance. So when we use radionics, traditional radionics, and we're using an electronic device, we're really trying to balance. We're scanning the person, and then we're testing, I guess is the best word, what different substrates or things will help them. Like maybe Mary Jane needs some lavender, maybe she needs some essential oil or flower essence, maybe she needs some crystal work, maybe she needs rates. And in radionics, good Lord, I couldn't even tell you. You can go to the KRT website and see tens of thousands of rates. So let's say Mary Jane is wanting to, let's say she has IBS. And I'm not a medical doctor and I don't do medical diagnosis, but let's just say in this instance, she had IBS. And energetically, I'm not working medically, energetically, there is a rate that I can research for IBS. And then I would tune it into my dials. Then I would turn the device, my instrument on, and I would test through my intensity dial how long I needed to leave this broadcast. And I know I'm saying a lot of words that you're like, what? Because this video is not about traditional radionics. I'm just giving you a comparative. So don't even worry about remembering all that, because I'll do a different one later on radionics in general. But I'm just giving you a comparative. There's a lot that goes into it. And again, as a practitioner who has been someone who's had a very dysregulated nervous system and suffered from anxiety for decades, anxiety, addiction, ADHD, you name it, I had it. So it takes a certain level of mind to be a good practitioner. My medicine is my radionics, because it brings me down to where I can focus on someone else in the quantum field and sending intentions. And I love it. It's my favorite tool. Cut. Now let's move to what I'm talking about here. I am able, because I'm also a businesswoman and I'm also a coach, and I also am absolutely focused on getting all of my clients, even if they're just having one session, the very best results I can. So I'm able to take data from a person. Let's say Mary Jane says, okay, I don't want to pay that much and have a full-on radionics, ordeal with you, Tamara. Can you just do a single session on me for a couple $100 and, and use your other device? And I would be like, yeah. And I would put her name, her address, her email, her height, her weight. And then I would ask her, and if I was using my Healy device, I would need her location of birth and, all the birth date too I need. And a picture, still use a picture. And then I would be able to have her give me a voice sample. With traditional, remember, I don't need that. I'd have her give me a voice sample, and then it runs against this big database, and it says where her emotional frequencies are off. So the first thing she's going to get from me is she's going to get some tones she can listen to, and then that's going to balance out her emotions, because our voices are like our fingerprints or a snowflake. There's no other voice that is identical to yours in the entire world. Okay, think about that. That's like 1 out of 8 billion, 5 million. So that's pretty crazy, but there's science behind it now, and I won't even talk about my other device that measures for health things because I'm not a doctor. But that being said, once I have that from Mary Jane, then I'm able, with all the information I have in this device, I'm able to scan her doing what I do with radionics, but doing it in an automated fashion. And the beautiful part about it is once I've scanned Mary Jane, now during the scan process, the device is actually optimizing her frequencies. So you're getting a scan, like this is what kind of stands out energetically. Here's where your frequencies might be a little off. It might be a little off in your lungs. Not medical, but now we just optimized it. So now it's looking pretty good. So she's going to get that report. Sorry, the dog's excited about radionics. She's going to get that report. She's going to get the tones to listen to. And then if she wants to have an appointment with me, because obviously when people want to do this, sometimes it's just for fun. And that's why when I have a special, like I do right now, they can just do a single session like that. And they don't even talk to me. I just get all the things I need from them. I run the scan. They get the reports. They get the tones. They're good to go. But if someone has something that's not working out in their lives and they're like, it's my business, it's my health, I'm stressed out, I'm sick, whatever it is, then we should address the conscious and the unconscious along with the energy. And so that's why when you do a single session, and I only allow a single session one time per every 6 months. And that's because I have a lot of people to help. And where I spend the majority of my time is in my other coaching containers. So having the time with me, I can identify after I review your scan, and I will review it with you. I can identify what parts of your body, the stress, your emotional energy is being stuffed up with. Is it in your heart chakra? Is it in your root chakra? And then we'll actually have a comprehensive frequency guide that we can look at to see where you're at. And then you listen to those tones. But after our session together, maybe we need to do a little unconscious work. Maybe we need to do a little EFT tapping. Maybe we need to reassess your values. But in that time we spend together, that hour we spend together, I guarantee you're going to get a heck of a lot out of it. So that's why the single session remotely is one price, and the single session remotely with a coaching session is another price. And it's not double, by the way. So, you're not paying a lot for that extra TLC from me. So if that sounds interesting to you, I will put the links below and check it out and see if that's something that you might be interested in. And I would love the opportunity to work with you and help you psychologically, mindset, energetically, in whatever ways I can. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching.